questions as they do answers.
We still care, and it still hurts. We just want to know what happened.
Listen to Freeway Phantom on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, folks, with crime on the rise, I wanted to upgrade my firearm security while researching gun safes. Guess what? I found something that is a serious, real game changer, and it's called Safe X by Rhino Metals, and I think it's revolutionary. And it makes standard safes and gun safes obsolete. And when you go to rhinosafe.com, that's rhinosafe.com, one word, if you watch their side-by-side price test like I did, judge for yourself. You'll be amazed. Linda and I both have the Rhino Safe X safes, and we absolutely love them. Linda, you finally got yours.
I did, and I tell you what, it's got the code. It's got the vault-type opening. It's got awesome racks. It looks amazing inside. It's great.
Rhino Metals has a huge network of expert dealers all across the country, and their safes are backed by the best warranty support. And I'm telling you, if you want the best, you got to check out the company rhinosafe.com. Rhino like the animal. RHINOSAFE.com. Rhinosafe.com.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all of your favorite radio stations.
Rover's Morning Glory.
It's The Woody Show.
It's Elliot in the Morning.
All of the once-in-a-lifetime events.
iHeartRadio Music Festival.
All of the best free curated playlists.
It's everything that rocks.
All of the great podcasts for every interest.
This is Freddie Prinze Jr. from the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
All of the mind-blowing contests.
$20,000.
Awesome.
All of your favorite superstars.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Download the absolutely free iHeartRadio app now.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Traffic and weather together.
Well, the GreatBigLimo.com traffic desk, crash reported in Haverhill, Mass, 495 southbound at exit 107. If you spot a problem, let us know, 866-999-7200. That is the New Hampshire Today traffic tip line for the Exergen Temporal Scanner Weather Desk. Here's Kevin Skarupa.
Mixture of sunshine and clouds today behind a front that came through last night. There'll be a pretty good breeze out of the northwest, gusting over 20 or 25 miles an hour today, making it feel cooler than temperatures hovering around in the 60s. We'll drop back into the lower 40s tonight under fair skies. Upper 60s for Friday with sunshine, 70s Saturday, and up above 80 for Sunday and Memorial Day. For all in the Stormwatch 9 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kevin Skarupa.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters to satisfied customers across the country with 20,000 5-star reviews and an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. And right now, save 50% off any order during our Memorial Day sale. Blindster.com.
Good morning. This is New Hampshire Today. I am Chris Ryan. This hour of the show is presented by New England College and NEC.edu. Excited to have with us right now on the HRCU guest line, the governor of Florida, the most recent entrant into the Republican race for president. He is Ron DeSantis. Good morning, Governor DeSantis.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am well. Appreciate you joining us. And you'll be in New Hampshire next week for 4 events on Thursday, June the 1st. So this is a bit of a prelude to that. And I think, what a lot of New Hampshire voters and Republicans are wondering at this point is, they've seen Ron DeSantis on TV. They have followed what you've done down in Florida. But who are you as an individual? And, what drives you when it comes to governance?
Well, I'm a blue-collar kid. My parents were working class, and I started working minimum wage jobs to put myself through school. I was a baseball player, played baseball the way through college. Then I joined the U.S. Navy, volunteered to serve in Iraq during the troop surge. I was a advisor to the commander for Navy SEAL Team 1. I also served as a prosecutor, got elected to Congress for 3 terms starting in 2012, and then got elected governor in 2018. And I think what drives me is when you're in a situation where people have entrusted you with responsibility, you need to use that in a way that's going to make the people you represent's lives better. And that's exactly what we've done in the state of Florida on a variety of issues, education, law and order, you name it. But certainly when COVID hit, I as a leader had to stand against the grain, against people like Dr. Fauci, against people in the media, even against people in my own party, to say, no, we need to protect people's rights. We need to make sure we get these businesses protected. We need to make sure our kids can be in school. And I was on an island on a lot of that, taking a lot of hits and criticism. A lot of people said that I would not be able to have much of a future politically as governor because what I was doing was unpopular at the time. But a leader does what they need to do to serve the interests of the people they represent. You don't put your own short-term interests above that. So I stood strong, and the rest is history because those were the right decisions. The state has never done better. I mean, we're number one in migration. We're number one for growth amongst the of all states, now fastest growing. Number one in economic freedom, although New Hampshire is number one in some, so I will give you guys credit on that. Number one now in education by U.S. News and World Report, and of course, no income tax. And the population's booming. So those are the right decisions. They were not easy decisions to make, but I think people can see, my view as a leader is not to get caught up in kind of the daily back and forth. Have that compass set to true north and make sure that you're getting done the really important things that you set out to do.
Donald Trump obviously played a huge role in your success, endorsed you for governor, and you've been very supportive of him in the past, but you've made the determination that you're going to run for president of the United States with him as the front runner, currently, leading in the polls. A lot of folks, in New Hampshire and across the country are wondering how you're going to go about, defeating Donald Trump. How do you do that? What clear vision do you have that is different than his? How are you different as a leader than him that would allow for you to have success, not just in beating him in this race, but be in terms of governing as president as well?
Well, in terms of winning, I took a state that was a evenly divided state in 2018, where all these races were decided by 1 point historically, and 4 years later won the state of Florida by 20 points. We won Hispanics with 60%. We won independents by 18%. And yes, I did very well with Republicans, but it's not enough to just win Republicans. You got to be able to win independent voters. You got to be willing to win some of these discerning Democrats that are sick of the woke turn that their party has taken, and I have a proven record of doing that. And so I can tell the Republicans and independents who may participate in this primary, if you nominate me, I will be taking that oath of office on January 20th, 2025 on the west side of the Capitol. No excuses. I'll get it done. We're going to end this culture of losing that's infected the Republican Party, and we're going to make sure that we're winning. Then when you get in, I think I have the strongest record of anyone in the country of following through and actually accomplishing what I set out to do. Look, it's great to have rhetoric. It's great to say this or that, but are you actually taking those ideas and those principles and values and making them a political reality? And that's what we've done in the state of Florida on every single issue. When I come out, we have a plan to get it done, and we get it done. Mm-hmm. Washington's tough. It's a little bit different than being in a state, but I have a good sense of how to use executive power, and I have a good sense of how to act strategically to be able to engineer the outcomes that we're looking to do. So people can feel confident that if I'm in there day one, we'll be spitting nails, and you'll get 2 terms of a very energetic executive with me at the helm.
You said that there's a culture of losing which has infected the Republican Party. Is Donald Trump basically the godfather of that culture?
Well, I don't know if to say that per se. I mean, I think what we've seen over many years is certainly losing elections. We've been doing that the last 3 cycles, no question. But even before that, I mean, even when we would win elections, we wouldn't actually win on the policy battles. And at the end of the day, yeah, you got to win. If you can't win, don't even worry about showing up. But winning the election just gets you the ticket to the dance. Once you're at the dance, you got to do something with it. So I think it's a combination of not being able to win the core voters that we need amongst the independents over the last few cycles. But I think even beyond that, I think we've had problems converting on here are our ideas, here's what we're running on, let's actually do it. And here in Florida, we've done it. The things that people talk about, we make happen, and that's what we need in Washington.
Ron DeSantis joins us here on the show, obviously entered the presidential race yesterday with us on the HRCU guest line. You mentioned your ability to appeal to independent voters, disaffected Democrats, and some Republicans who maybe have left the party based upon your policies. However, we've heard from independents and some Republicans and Democrats that they don't like some of your policies when it comes to, abortion, your fight with Disney, LGBTQ plus issues, what's taking place in schools, things of that nature. How do you pick and choose your battles, and how do you feel those issues are going to play when it comes to independents and the general election?
Well, I want all those voters in Florida, and things like Disney. I think, though, there's a corporate media narrative that, I'm not out nationally yet. I will be now, of course, battling back on that. But in Florida, I take the case directly to the people. So people said, oh, you've got to do what Disney says. And no, we stood up to them. We protected parents' rights. Disney wanted to have gender theory and sexuality in elementary school. We think that that's wrong. And so we passed legislation to make sure that we weren't going to go down that road. So we won that fight. It was the right fight to have. Disney usually doesn't lose fights in Florida because they're very powerful. But then there was this issue with them having their own government in Central Florida, where they're exempt from laws. They got massive tax breaks that no other individual or company enjoyed, and they were on a pedestal, and we didn't think that arrangement worked for the state of Florida, so we ended Disney's self-governing status. They now live under the same laws as everybody else, and they have to pay their fair share of taxes. They're suing us because they want their special privileges back. But I can tell you, in Central Florida, those folks think Disney should live under the same laws as everybody else, and I did better than any Republican has done in a generation in Central Florida, including winning Osceola County by 7%, which is where most Disney employees live, and a Republican hasn't won that in a long time. So I think some of those things, are phony narratives, and I look forward to be able to get out there and really press on the issues in terms of parents' rights and education, in terms of things like corporate welfare and fighting back against some of these big corporations. Look, as Republicans, we can't be corporatist, where you're trying to give special goodies to multi-billion-dollar corporations. We need to have an economy focused on the small businessman, small businesswoman, and the individuals who are working hard to make a living. Those big companies can take care of themselves, but you're not going to see corporate welfare from me for those folks.
We got a lot more things to discuss over the coming weeks and months, and I'm certainly looking forward to having that conversation with you. But before we let you go, a major issue right here in New England with the Celtics and Heat playing tonight in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm saying the Celtics are going to pull off a Red Sox and come back here and win this series. What say you?
I'm a Heat. I'll go with the Heat on that one. And although I will say this, I can spot you guys that series, given that we got to have Tom Brady for 3 seasons in Tampa. And so I will never complain. When he brought home that Super Bowl, that was one of the sweetest things we've seen in Florida in a long time.
I thought you were going to go with the Florida Panthers put down on the Bruins, but Brady was a good comeback as well. Governor DeSantis, appreciate your time. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks.
That is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis joining us on the HRCU Better Not Bigger Banking guest line. Make them your credit union at HRCU.com.